Hello everyone, and welcome on back to the channel. We have yet another blog post to get into, and this time it's all about the Kryptis and the Rift feature. And now that we are officially in August, I'm excited and hopeful that more Guild Wars 2 Secrets of the Obscure information is coming our way. And getting into the enemies is a big draw. It's who we're going to be fighting, our opponents, and especially the Kryptis being so fleshy and horrific from what we have seen. We're going to get a little bit more of a taste of some concept art in this blog post, and they actually begin it with the section of Beginnings from Beyond the Mists, and they show concept art of this almost flesh reaver-y looking Kryptis, I want to say. Now, is there a connection between flesh reavers and Kryptis? Who knows? But let's see what they have to say about the Kryptis. Early in Guild Wars 2 Secrets of the Obscure, you'll discover rifts, tears in the fabric of reality, across Tyria through which strange demonic forces are appearing. These enemies are the Kryptis. We're not going to get into the rest of the story in this blog. That's what the game is for. But for today's purposes, it's enough to know that the Kryptis are mean and meaty. It's up to you and some new allies to find a way to stop their incursions from the mists. Chief among your new allies will be members of the Astral Ward, an organization you'll have to play the story to learn more about. After joining forces with them, you'll get access to the Heart of the Obscure, a mysterious and powerful ancient artifact, and its associated mastery line, essential components in your quest to hunt down and close rifts. While the story continues on from there, rift hunting will become a permanent option for on-demand open-world content. It's official, we're getting rifts in Guild Wars 2, and we've had various versions of rift-style content. I think we have even like rift stalkers and like Krakatork dynamic events during Living World Season 4, and you know, some dynamic events essentially are kind of that locational, opening something up or exploring something hidden and fighting enemies, and then, but you know, what do rifts mean in Guild Wars 2? Well, I kind of hinted at it already, but the next section is known as rift hunting. With the help of the Heart of the Obscure, you'll find nascent rifts across Tyria. Fully opening a rift will reveal Kryptis invaders who were roaming Tyria while hidden from sight. Defeat enough of them, and a more formidable champion will appear for you to face. Taking down the final Kryptis target will allow you to close the rift, and will grant you Kryptis Essence, powerful materials you can use to craft weapons, armor, legendary armor, and bait to lure out deadlier Kryptis from rifts. At launch, you'll be able to find rifts in several explorable zones in Guild Wars 2 Secrets of the Obscure areas, Central Tyria, Cantha, and the Crystal Desert. Rest in peace, Maguma Jungle, but they don't need it. There's already enough going on there. Rift activity in the explorable zones not associated with Guild Wars 2 Secrets of the Obscure will cycle on a weekly basis. If you use the Heart of the Obscure in maps without active Kryptis rifts, you'll get pointed to those that have them. In a future update, you'll be able to progress to even deadlier hunts designed for larger groups of players. The enemies coming out of a rift scale with the size of the group fighting it. That means that you can party up with friends for rift hunts, weave them into open world activities you're doing, and even help out if you come across a stranger fighting to close a rift in the wild. We'll be sharing more details about other things to look forward to in Guild Wars 2 Secrets of the Obscure between now and the launch on August 22nd. So check back next week. Confirmation that we're getting more stuff next week. Yay! I mean, we are only like a few weeks away. At this point, I'm really expecting more of a ramp in content and, you know, information coming about the expansion. But yes, Kryptis and rifts. This was kind of hinted at some of the video, or a part of the video that was behind the voice featuring Felicia Day. There was a moment where they were talking about the Heart of the Obscure and it opening rifts and it acting as a type of renewed bounty system where it's bounties but brought up to modern day. And from what it seems, the Heart of the Obscure will be a tool that will show players where activity is, so that you're not just bouncing around different maps, checking on bounty boards to see if they're there or not. It's going to be a much more on-demand feature where you will know where the activity is and you won't have to like tab out to any wikis or rely on people being spread out across different bounty boards. And This sentiment, I think, is really essential in Guild Wars 2. It's such a large game, and there are so many activities to do where people can be spread out across the entire world. And sometimes you want to just jump in really quickly and go and do an activity. And I know from personal experience that I've been utilizing the World Boss portal device quite frequently, to the point where I'm almost like, I'd love that if it was a real world, like, in-game option that you didn't have to actually purchase on the gem store, because it is very convenient to be able to just teleport to a location and start doing group activities. And the Heart of the Obscure seems to be a vehicle for that mentality as well. But rifts, what are they? As they talk about in the blog post, I'm really happy that they are, of course, coming to the expansion areas, but they're inundating Central Tyria, Cantha, and the Crystal Desert with these open world content pieces, which will be really interesting. Maybe we'll have, like Path of Fire, the Alonian regions, the Crystal Desert. Maybe that'll be even more of an exciting and enticing open world experience, because you can weave in bounties, legendary bounties, and also these rift activities. We might see a little bit of a reinvigoration of the Crystal Desert, because oftentimes that is a very explorable focused expansion and explorable focused maps. But even in Central Tyria, it's really exciting. I wonder if they will pop up in areas only in specific maps or across the entirety of Central Tyria. I don't know. I mean, I guess it'd be kind of exciting if they popped up in early level zones, but I also think it'd be even more exciting if it popped up in areas like Ara and those level 80 zones that often have, you know, fun activities to do, but their meta events are somewhat older and maybe not brought up to scale. So having rifts in those maps might focus a little bit more on, you know, areas in which people don't often go or travel to. So I think that's really cool. And then, of course, Cantha. Cantha is more fresh in all of our minds, and they have a decent amount of events and high quality meta events. And they recently had Oni events pop up. So this will be another layer of content that will be woven into Cantha. But as a function, I think it's really exciting. I hope that it's just open world and it's not something that you open and you have to then teleport into, similar to the Rift Stalker events. I hope this is just like in world, you open the tear and things start sprawling out, and maybe the localized area starts to transform and have a different effect to indicate that this is a rift, and you are opening and fighting the Kryptis. It seems to be that way because they do mention that you will just maybe sometimes be traveling in these maps and see players fighting rifts, and you can go and help them out, which will be really exciting. And also, it's giving you a special type of material known as Kryptis Essence, and then you can put that towards, you know, crafting weapons, armor. They talk about legendary armor, which I'm really happy about, that this is going to be a feature in which you'll get even more use out of to not only progress cosmetic endeavors through weapons and armor, but also the legendary journey. And as we know, the legendary journey is being brought to the open world PvE experience. So I, of course, imagine that you'll have to do some rift hunting in order to progress your open world PvE legendary armor set. And they also say that you can use the Kryptis Essence as bait to lure out deadlier Kryptis from rifts, which is very exciting. I wonder if there's going to be like rare bosses that spawn, or, you know, large open world invasions where you have a bunch of essence put into a rift and it's like a group effort, and then you have like almost like a huge wave of Kryptis taking over a map. I think that would be really exciting, keeping even Central Tyria rather fresh, because as we know, these maps are kind of time locked. But I can just imagine being somewhere in the brand and you open up a massive rift, and then you have a bunch of Kryptis just sieging the entire map, which really just transforms the gameplay experience and adds something more spontaneous and fun. And with it being on a weekly cycle, it's not like it's going to just be something happening, you know, every daily reset, and would maybe grow a little bit old after a while. Having this on a weekly cycle will keep things fresh in terms of where they're located, the maps that they're on, what you can kind of combo and pair with the Rift events, and, you know, doing bounties, maybe doing other open world events like in Cantha, world bosses in Central Tyria. You know, depending on how they're timed, they could be a really fun and compounding endeavor, which I'm really excited about. Also, we have, never forget about the Wizard's Vault as a system of further rewarding players. I would love to see, and I kind of expect certain Wizard's Vault quest lines and objectives to have you go out and close a certain number of rifts, do open world content, you know, further incentivize and reward you for playing the game at your pace and consistently. So all of this is rather exciting, and of course this feature is exciting, but also thinking about how it's going to connect to other systems in Guild Wars 2, the Wizard's Vault, central to your world bosses, Cantha meta events, Crystal Desert bounties. All of it could be, you know, depending on how it meshes, it could be very fulfilling and just really create a very exciting combat experience and a consistent combat experience. But yeah, the Kryptis are looking cool. I love the concept of rift hunting. Maybe we'll have rift hunting armor pieces and armor sets. They could really go quite far with this concept of rift hunting and maybe even like bounty hunting and, you know, all that stuff. And yeah, this is really cool. I would love to hear what you all have to say down below. If any of you have played any other MMOs with similar titles, how do you feel? I know I definitely mentally made that connection. But comment down below about the Kryptis, about rifts, how it's going to connect to legendary armor, the Wizard's Vault. How rewarding do you want this to be? Do you want this to... Are you comfortable with it being on a weekly cycle? And in terms of where they change from Central Tyria to Cantha to the Crystal Desert? What about Maguma Jungle? You know, rest in peace, Maguma Jungle, but, you know, those maps are heavily populated already because they're just... they were executed so well. But yeah, if you'd like to support the channel, you can head on over to Patreon. But if you'd like to pre-order Guild Wars 2 Secrets of the Obscure and secure your slot and spot in the oncoming Kryptis invasion, you can use my links down below. Thank you all so very much. And I will catch you all in the next video. Bye, everyone. Mwah.